Section 3 of Modern Magic. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Lynn Thompson. Modern Magic, a practical treatise on the art of conjuring, by Professor Hoffmann. General Principles of Sleight-of-Hand applicable to Card Tricks. Part 2. To make a false shuffle. False shuffles are of two kinds, according to the object with which they are made. Those of the first kind are designed simply to keep in view a particular card or cards, the remainder of the pack being really shuffled. The second kind are designed to keep the pack in a pre–arranged order, and are shuffled in appearance only, all the cards being brought back to the same relative positions which they occupied before the shuffle. First method, to keep a particular card or cards in view. Take the pack in the left hand. If the card to be kept in view is not already on the top of the pack, insert the little finger of the left hand immediately above that card, and make the pass in order to bring it to the top. Transfer this card to the right hand, and slide the remaining cards upon it. By little successive parcels of 6 or 8 cards, one above the other, the known card will now be at the bottom. Return the pack to the left hand, slide off 3 or 4 of the top cards into the right hand, and place the remaining cards, by parcels of 6 or 8 as before, alternately above and below these top cards, until you come to the last card, which is the special one, and which you will place above or below as occasion may require. If there are 3 or 4 cards to be kept in view, it makes no difference in the mode of operation, save that you must treat those cards throughout as the single card, and keep them together accordingly. Second method, to keep a particular card in view. Bring the card in question, as before directed, to the top of the pack. Take the pack in the left hand, holding it upright on its side, the edges of the cards resting on the palm, the 4 fingers (which should be slightly moistened) being at the back or top, and the thumb on the face of the pack. Now, with the thumb and middle finger of the right hand, lift out edgeways that portion of the cards which now forms the middle of the pack, and drop them by packets of 5 or 6 at a time upon the face of the cards remaining in the left hand, moving aside the left thumb to allow of their passage. The pressure of the fingers will always keep the top card in place. However, many of the remaining cards you lift out with the right hand, and as you only shuffle onto the face of the pack, however often you repeat the process, this card will still remain at the top. Third method, to retain the whole pack in a pre–arranged order. Take the pack in the left hand, slide off with the left thumb 5 or 6 of the top cards into the right hand, and place the remaining cards by parcels of 5 or 6 at a time, apparently, alternately above and below these first cards, as in the ordinary mode of shuffling. We say apparently, for in reality, although you go through the motion of placing every alternate packet above the cards in the right hand, you do not leave it there, but draw it back again with the thumb on to the top of the cards in the left hand, and then place it by your next movement under the cards in the right hand. The result is, that the cards in the left hand, instead of being placed alternately above and below the cards in the right hand, are really all placed below, and in precisely the same order which they occupied at first. Some persons are in the habit of making the genuine shuffle, of which the above is an imitation, from the right hand to the left, instead of from the left hand to the right, as above described. It may be stated, once for all, that wherever it is found more easy by the student to do with the right hand that which he is here instructed to do with the left, and vice versa, there is not the least objection to his doing so, though the mode here indicated is that which, it is believed, will be found most convenient by the generality of persons. Fourth method, to retain the whole pack in a pre–arranged order. Take the upper half of the pack in the right hand, and the lower half in the left, the thumb in each case being above and the fingers below the cards. Place the two portions edge to edge, and work in the edges of the cards in the right hand half an inch or so between the edges of those in the left, spreading the cards in the meanwhile to facilitate the introduction, but let the right hand cards project about an inch above the top edges of those in the left hand. If you were to close up the cards in the relative positions they now occupy, they would be really shuffled. To prevent their being so in fact as well as in appearance, you clip lengthways between the thumb and second finger of the right hand the cards of the packet on that side, and bend them sharply downwards and outwards. This again disengages them from the other packet, on the top of which you quickly slide them, and press the whole square. Fifth method, to retain the whole pack in a pre–arranged order. Make the pass so as to bring the lower half of the pack uppermost. Take the pack in the right hand, keeping the two portions of the pack separated by the little finger of that hand. Hold the cards face downwards a few inches from the table, and let fall, by 5 or 6 at a time, those cards which now form the lower half of the pack. You should so arrange that these cards form 4 little heaps, falling in order indicated by the accompanying figure. Thus the bottom cards must fall at 1, the next lowest at 2, the next, comprising all that remain of the lower packet, at 3, and the remaining cards, being the whole of the upper part, at 4. Now, with the left hand, quickly place packet 1 on packet 4, and, with the right hand, packet 2 on packet 1, and finally, with the left hand, packet 3 on top of all, when the cards will occupy precisely the same relative positions as at first. The use of the two hands alternately, coupled with the rapidity of the performer, gives to his motions an appearance of carelessness which effectually baffles the spectators, and prevents their suspecting that the heaps are pre–arranged in any determined order. Sixth method. This also retains the cards in their pre–arranged order, with this qualification, that an indefinite number are transferred from the top to the bottom of the pack, the effect being as if the cards had been cut without being shuffled. Holding the cards as directed for the last method, you drop them in 4 heaps as before, first beginning from the left and proceeding straight onwards in regular succession. Now place the first heap on the fourth or right–hand heap, and the second heap on the first heap, finally placing the third heap either above or below the pile thus made. Where it is necessary, after using this shuffle, to bring back the cards to the precise condition in which they were at first, this object may be effected by the use of the bridge hereafter described. To palm a card. Bring the card which you desire to palm, by the pass or otherwise, to the top of the pack. Hold the pack face downwards in the left hand, covering it lengthways with the right. With the left thumb push the top card till it projects about an inch beyond the edge of the pack. With the third finger of the left hand, which is now immediately below the card, press it upwards into the right hand, which should half close over it. You must not mind about bending the card, which will lie curled up against the inside of the hand. You may either let the hand drop negligently to your side, or, still better, take the pack between the fingers and thumbs of the same hand, and offer it to be shuffled. This will give you the opportunity, often very valuable, of seeing what the card in question is. When it becomes necessary to return the card to the pack, the mere motion of taking the pack in the right hand, whether from the left hand or from the table, will effect that object in the most natural manner. If the card retains a curve from its bent position in the hand, you may readily straighten it by ruffling the cards, as described in the next paragraph. If the performer is fortunate enough to have a large hand, a complete pack of cards may be palmed in this manner without difficulty. To ruffle the cards. Hold the pack tightly by the lower end between the fingers and thumbs of the left hand. the thumb being above and the fingers below the cards. Cover the pack lengthways with the right hand, and clip the cards between the fingers and thumb, as if you were about to make the pass by the first method. Keep the thumb unmoved, but draw the fingers smartly upwards, so as to bend the cards slightly. The springing of the cards, as they escape one by one from the pressure of the fingers, and again straighten themselves, causes a peculiar sharp sound. The ruffle may also be executed with one hand only. Take the pack between the middle finger at top and the thumb at bottom, the first finger resting in a bent position on the back of the cards. Press strongly with the thumb, so as to bend the two ends of the cards smartly outwards, allowing them one by one to escape from the middle finger, and simultaneously straighten the first finger, so as to clip the lower end of the cards between that finger and the thumb. The ruffle is a mere flourish, but it is by no means without its value. We have indicated in the last paragraph one of its uses, that is, to straighten a card which has been palmed. Apart from this, there are many tricks in which it is desirable to mislead the spectator as to the particular movement by which, or the point of time at which, a particular effect was produced. This may be effected by a judicious use of the ruffle. Suppose, for instance, that the trick consists in magically bringing a given card to a particular position in the pack, and that the performer has already, without the knowledge of his audience, placed the card in the required position. If, before showing that it is so placed, he ostentatiously ruffles the cards, 9 out of 10 of the audience will be persuaded that this noisy movement is in some way the cause of the transposition, and will be proportionately the less likely to discover the true explanation of the feat. To change a card. Filer la carte. Some of the most brilliant effects in card conjuring are produced by the aid of this sleight, by means of which a card, fairly exhibited, is forthwith apparently transformed to a different one. There are several modes of producing this effect. First method: hold the pack in the left hand as though about to deal the cards. Hold the card to be changed in the right hand, between the first and second forefingers. The card into which it is to be changed should have been previously placed, secretly of course, on the top of the pack. Push this card a little forward with the left thumb, so as to make it project about 3/4 of an inch beyond the remaining cards. Bring the hands close together for an instant, and in that instant place the card held in the right hand under the pack, the second, third, and fourth fingers of the left hand opening to receive it, and the remaining finger making way for it as soon as it reaches the pack. Simultaneously with this movement, the thumb and first finger of the right hand must close upon the card projecting from the top of the pack, and, as the hand separates, carry with them that card in place of the one which the right hand originally held. A half turn of the body to the left or right, a quick downward sweep of the right hand, or any other rapid gesture, will assist in covering the momentary bringing together of the hands. In some cases it is better that the right hand alone should move, the left hand being held stationary. In other cases, the left hand, the one holding the pack, should make the movement, the hand holding the single card being motionless. It will be well to practice both these modes of making the change. The direction in which the performer turns, in order to place the card on his table, or the like, will indicate which is the best mode to use in any given case. Second method. This is a very inferior mode of performing the change, but may be useful as a makeshift while the student is acquiring the greater dexterity required for the former method. Hold the pack upright towards the audience, with the card to be changed at the bottom, and therefore in full view, and the card for which it is to be changed at the top. The pack should be supported by both hands, and the two cards named should project about half an inch to the right beyond the remainder of the pack. the front or bottom card being between the first and second fingers, and the back or top card between the thumb and first finger of the right hand. Call attention to the bottom card. Make a downward sweep with the pack, so as to turn the faces of the cards towards the ground, and at the same moment draw off with the right hand the top card, which the audience will imagine to be the one they have just seen at the bottom. Third method. Hold the card to be changed face downwards, between the thumb and first and second fingers of the right hand, the thumb being above and the two fingers below the card. Hold the pack in the left hand as if about to deal the cards, the card for which that first mentioned is to be changed being on the top. Bring the hands rapidly together, pushing the top card with the left thumb about an inch beyond the rest of the pack, and at the same moment place the card held in the right hand, with a sliding motion, upon the top of the pack. Both this card and the original top card, which is now second, will now be between the two fingers and thumb of the right hand. Press lightly on the top card with the left thumb to keep it back, and quickly draw away the right hand, pressing gently upwards with the two fingers on the face of the second card, which you will thereby draw away in place of the top card. If neatly done, the keenest eyesight cannot detect the substitution of the second card. Your only difficulty will be to find a colourable pretext for placing the card you hold on the top of the pack. This achieved, the rest is easy. The nature of the trick you are performing will frequently suggest a plausible excuse. A very successful plan is to boldly request the company to observe that you do not do that which you at the same moment actually do. "You will observe, ladies and gentlemen," you remark, "that I do not, even for one moment, replace the card in the pack, but simply," etc., etc. At the words "replace the card in the pack," the hands are brought together and make the change. The action, suiting the words, is taken by the audience as an indicative gesture only, and thus the change is effected under their very eyes, without exciting the least suspicion. In this mode of making the exchange, you should aim at being easy and natural, rather than very rapid. The main movement, that which brings the hands together, is undisguised, but attributed to a fictitious motive, and the subsidiary movement of the fingers, which actually effects the change, is so slight as to be practically imperceptible. Fourth method, with one hand only. Take the pack, face downwards, in the left hand, as if about to deal. Place the card to be changed at the top, and the card for which it is to be changed next below it. With the left thumb push forward the top card to the extent of half its width, letting it rest on the tips of the fingers. This will leave one half of the second card exposed. By the reverse movement of the thumb, draw back this second card till its outer edge is just clear of the inner edge of the top card. Now press the second card downwards with the thumb so as to bring its opposite edge just above the level of the top card, then push it back into its place, but this time above instead of below the top card. Fifth method, to change a given card without the aid of the pack. A card having been chosen and returned to the pack, make the pass to bring it to the top, and palm it. Give the pack to be shuffled, and when it is returned, pick out haphazard any card you please, and holding it up between the first finger and thumb of the right hand, in which is the palmed card, announce boldly that that was the card chosen. You will of course be contradicted, whereupon you pretend to be disconcerted, and ask if the person is quite certain that that is not the card he drew, and so on. Meanwhile you take the card face downwards between the first finger and thumb of the left hand, whence you immediately take it again in the right hand, taking it so as to bring the palmed card immediately over it, when the two will at a little distance appear to be only one card. You then say, "Well, if you seriously assure me that it is not the right card, I must endeavour to change it to the right one. May I ask what your card was?" When you are told, you continue, "It is a very simple process. I have merely to lay the card upon my hand, so, or if you prefer it, I will change it in your own hands. Oblige me by holding the card face downwards. I think you said your card was, say, the ace of spades. Change. As you say the words, 'Lay the card upon my hand,' you place the two cards for an instant on the palm of the left hand, and draw off rapidly the top card, which is the right one, leaving the other palmed in the left hand, which then drops to your side. The audience do not suspect that the change is already effected, or that you have more than one card in your hand throughout, and if you have performed the trick neatly, will be utterly nonplussed when the transformation is revealed. You may, if you please, conclude by asking what card the audience imagine that they first saw, and, when told, remarking that they must have been mistaken in their impression, as that card has been in Mr. So and so's tail pocket all evening, as you prove by plunging your left hand, in which the card remains palmed, into the pocket, and producing it accordingly. Sixth method, to change several cards at once. This sleight is extremely useful in cases where you desire, without the knowledge of the audience, to gain possession of a given number of selected cards. Palm in the left hand, face downwards, a number of cards equal to that which you desire to abstract. Take the cards which you desire to gain possession of between the second finger and thumb of the left hand, after the manner of the single card. Cover these cards lengthways with the right hand, and palm them in that hand, at the same moment seizing crossways, with the fingers and thumbs of the same hand, the cards already palmed in the left hand, which to the eyes of the spectators will be the same they have just seen, and throw them face downwards on the table. Section 4